is they don't have to have him in the starting rotation right now.
Right.
They have enough people. They have depth.
Able to ease him in, able to not really build up so many innings on him and have to put so much pressure on him early in. I think it's, a great spot for him.
Do you think he gets to a point where he's so dynamic out the bullpen that he gets a couple of spot starts, maybe either be midweek or is it?
Depends. I don't. Here's where I think his route into the weekend rotation would be, if you see those guys scuffle, right? Like those guys are slated to be wherever they're slated to be for a reason, right? So unless you see him, I wouldn't want to take an arm like that. That's say he's really excelling at the back end of the bullpen and he's giving you wherever that is in the back end of the bullpen and he's giving you shut down innings in those spots. Why, outside of other guys not performing, why would you want to move that? Because those innings are super important in college as well, right? So if that's where he starts, I would imagine without some other scuffling going on, that's where he stays. And I would hope too.
Let me ask you this, Jay. Whenever you were coming up and you played against David Price, right? David Price first year, was he a starter or was he the closer?
I don't know. When I was here, it was his draft year.
Okay, so I don't know. I didn't know that answer. So, but I know the answer for Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray's freshman year, he was the closer, throwing 99 miles an hour as a super freshman. He's the closer. Next year starter, first rounder, gone. Yeah. Right? LSU tried to do it this year with, or last year with Shore. Or was it this year? With Chase Shore. Back in the bullpen, had some starts, but like kind of a bullpen guy, and then was going to put him as a starter and do what he needed to do. My point saying is there's a lot of times Carson Fulmer and Vandy did the same thing. Closer, starter, first rounder. So a lot you see it happen a lot where these guys that throw really hard that are young go in the back into the bullpen and they develop and they learn how to pitch at the college level that way. Where they say, okay, here, you're going to dominate. You throw 99 miles an hour, and you're nasty. You only need 2 pitches. Go out there, get 1 or 2 innings, and then we'll start progressing you to become a starter the next year or whatever.
Zach Hess.
Zach didn't have as much success as a starter.
Right, but I'm saying that was that same kind of career arc of bullpen, like electric coming out. Okay, let's give him the opportunity to start. It didn't work, I would say, as well as probably people had hoped, but it's that same thing where you're dominant out the bullpen, give him a chance to be a Friday, Saturday guy. Yeah, exactly. And so, it's an embarrassment of riches for LSU this year on the pitching staff and like the depth of the pitchers. Listen to me. What are you talking?
This same scout.
Yeski.
We do. This same scout that I was talking to, right, that I knew, I asked him about the staff and I asked him about, I was like, look, tell me about this Aiden Moffitt. I know he was at LSU, and I know he was there last year. He was like, his problem last year just didn't know it was gone.
Yeah, only 1 ball.
And now he's throwing the ball over the plate. He's like, not only does he throw 98 miles an hour, the ball moves like this much. He goes, he's going to break so many bats in pro ball. And I'm like, well, that is great to hear because, like, that's a whole different dynamic of a guy that you don't really have. It's just they have so many guys that do so many different things. If you look at the way Tampa Bay Rays construct their pitching staff, I'm not saying LSU has this because they don't have all the arm angles. Tampa will create
Da Vinci Code.
This is no joke. Tampa will have both sides of the mound do this. Have a sidearm guy, 3/4 guy, up, and then have different things. So, like, they get you at all angles, right? And these guys do something specific. Now, this is professional baseball, so it's a little different. But my point in saying this is LSU's got the ability to pitch you a bunch of different ways. They can blow by you with
cheese.
Yeah, just absolute fuel. Or they can saw you off with hard sink. They can pitch you to death with Gage Jump throwing 90 to 94 with nasty stuff.
Nasty Nate.
Right? You have Ackenhausen who's going to be able to pitch you to death. He's going to make you kind of be patient and not chase. You have Thatcher who has explosive stuff, but he has 3 or 4 different pitches. And you got Holman who is projected to be the better of all 3 of the starters. So it's like you have 10 lefties.
You literally have the ability for it to be a much better staff than it was last year. And I personally think
More complete.
the staff that you had last year was more complete than the numbers show. People just don't realize how big of the losses that they had were, right? If you're able to keep this staff pretty healthy throughout the year, I think you may see some of the best pitching numbers that we've kind of seen come through this LSU program in a while.
And this is a bold.
Uh-oh. 1,000-yard.
Yeah, this one. I think this one's gonna be a little more realistic than a 1,000-yard tight end.
Uh-oh.
The day and age of baseball right now has changed a little bit, so I'm gonna have a higher projection of this. But what Oregon State did over there when Yeski was there, and they had ERA, team ERA under 2. You could see something like that happen this year in Baton Rouge. And listen, it's the SEC. You have deep offenses. Maybe a team ERA at under 3, 2.5.
There you go. That was my only take back was that. I was like, and there's nothing. Look, there's some really good baseball played on the West Coast, without a doubt.
But it's more offensive.
But the SEC is what it is, right? And I would say because Nate was there, the talent you got here, but also the talent that's in the league. That's why I said some of the best numbers you've seen out of an LSU staff and maybe in the conference in a while. Under 2 is unbelievable. Yeah. And it's almost goofy to even think that there was a staff that's able to do that.
Right.
But I do think the talent on this staff as a whole it's special. It really is.
A team ERA under 3, mid 2s, that's very good.
What do you think the team ERA was last year?
5.
4.47.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
it's actually lower than I thought it was as a team.
I thought it was about 5, 4.5.
And they scored 8 a game. So.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to get to.
Do I think they're going to score 8 a game? No. They can score 6 a game.
You'd be hard-pressed to find an offense do what they did last year again as a whole.
I think they can score 6 a game, though, eventually. You know what I mean? I think they're going to score differently, but I think they can score 6 a game.
You'd be hard-pressed to find an offense do what they did last year in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
You know, like when you have an offense that can do that, there's the chances of a lot of those guys not moving on to the next level is slim to none. And then obviously to be able to repeat it again the next year is tough. Now, that doesn't mean I think they're going to lose. I just think you're going to see a lot more. They're going to play differently this year. You're not going to see them slug it out with everybody. You're going to see them move runners. You're going to see them have guys that can run. I do think that's going to happen a little bit more with this team. But I think the bread and butter in this team is being able to keep you at a low number, and then they're going to beat you on the other side of it.